Hey good people, Batavia here. Welcome back to my Chicago garden where it kind of feels like everything is starting to happen all at once. So there's some things that I have on my harvest list that I want to get out before we have a change in weather. So I want to make sure I pick those things. We have some things that need my attention from a maintenance standpoint, which I hope to get to today. And then we have some stuff that's on the watch list. Most of it's the positive watch list, but some not so much. Let's dig in. Okay, so inside or under the trellis, I have actually a couple of strawberries that have come back. So my honeydew melon, and I think that there are two of them. Excited. I know we have enough time. It's just about keeping the plant on the vine until it ripens. Now I have on the watch list some of our melons. I honestly just completely missed this. I think I was taking a little bit of a break from needing to be in the garden and just focused on kind of wanting to be in the garden, which meant I wasn't inspecting things closely. That's a honeydew melon that we just saw, and then a cantaloupe. And then over here I have my honey nut squash. And then we have the infamous mango melon that like 6 years ago was the most delicious melon I've ever had. Mango melon, let's see. That's good, yeah. Just say in Chicago, in the States. And so I've been chasing it for a number of years. So we definitely have seen some Japanese beetle damage. Not so many Japanese beetles though. At this point we're waiting on flowers for these pole beans. Are at the point where we're going to be pulling these carrots, I'm sure. And then I direct sowed some beets here. And we actually have some beets to harvest. They're going to move along. The only thing up here that I really need to harvest is going to be some okra pods. So I'm getting, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 a day. And right now all I'm doing, which I love, is cutting the top off of it, slicing it in the middle, and then kind of like pan frying it, like sauteing it. A little bit of salt after they're cooked. And it's yummy. I'll add it to breakfast or lunch or whatever have you. And so I'll pull these beets. We'll come back to this. Now we're in the backyard and this is the same thing. We have our flowers now for our bush beans. This is like maybe the, I don't know, second or third planting I had for this season for bush beans in particular. So this is in the shadiest spot of the garden. I'm harvesting shishitos because every year I will let them get too mature and they don't make so good for the blistering shishitos, which I really want. This is that strawberry mint. I think I'm just going to cut some of the mojito mint. Everything else is doing okay here. My tomatoes, I don't know what to make of them this year, but what we do have is the first slicer tomatoes, which this gal couldn't be happier. So this is the beef steak, looking at the tag. And then I've had a bunch of the, what are they again? The sun golds. So your cherry tomatoes are always coming in earlier than your slicer tomatoes. I do have a couple of Romas. Plant isn't looking great. The rest of the tomato plants look wonderful. Plant isn't looking great, so we'll see how they mature. Uh-oh. That is not cabbage moth damage. I think something else is in there eating those leaves. I really should be harvesting a bunch more of my collards. I just don't know that I'll have time to work with them. I may let them get through the rain this week and focus on harvesting them when I get back into the garden next weekend. Kale's looking great. I'm going to harvest some of these bell peppers, and I think I'm going to take all of the cherry tomatoes off of these plants. And there are some new flowers, but this is on my list for making space for fall. Now I already have some open spaces which we'll cover off on, but this could be a really nice bed. I did put in another tumbling tom tomato, and the beets are finally getting a little bit of life on them. I don't remember if I direct sowed those or transplanted them. And then we have our green stalk. We have the first flower on our zucchini plant here. We figured out this was the zucchini. And over here, this is the yellow squash. The thing I've been harvesting the most is very clearly cucumbers. But it's time to move beyond cucumbers, pickling cucumbers. I'm playing around with a couple of refrigerator recipes. I think I may be close to the one that this year's Batavia likes. So eggplant and some peppers once they start to change colors. This year I think I'm going to pull them. Yeah, you see these are turning red. It's time to get those off the vine and maybe do a couple of test pulls for carrots. Trying to look ahead to say what can I pull from the garden to create kind of a diverse plate over the course of the week. Now this space, this is just it's such a joy because we spent so much time working on this particular raised bed and it's just lovely. I need to find my garden bed data. I may have been one over on squash. So these are the yellow summer squash, and then I've seen the first set of leaves on the zucchini for the year. I haven't gotten any out of the garden yet. Remember, I do the dance every season. Do I even want to bother growing zucchini? So for the yellow squash, it doesn't seem like there's been any problem with pollination with the netting on it. See if we have good success with the zucchini. Thinking out loud here. So, walked into a spider web. Cabbage, I've already pulled some of it out, the ones that weren't performing. These will likely be super small heads. Got some sausage yesterday with the goal of pulling one of these heads today and probably being able to eat a couple of servings off of it. I had to mention, I have basically the last round of outdoor kale that I'm going to be transplanting. Oh, and here's another round of mint. So this one's starting to flower. I think this is the strawberry mint. So I want to try to harvest and do like a clean cutting of this chocolate mint and let it dry inside. All right, so open spaces. Let's call this bed 1. This is formerly the onion bed that we have that is empty. We have some pockets in our green stalks that are finishing up from beans that will open up. I'm going to put some of that basil in here. That's not a fall planting, but back up in the front yard before we get off the basil. I pulled one of those tomato plants. There were 3 here, and so I think I'm just going to plot in a couple more basil plants here. Here is a fall space, and here is the sister space. This is where the garlic was. So we pull this, the rest of these beets. We'll refresh the soil for this green stalk and replant it. I'm mixing seasons, I know, but this is the way my mind is focused right now. I thought about this last night. I was going to get up and do it last night, but said I could do it in the morning. Is just drop a couple of cucumber seeds along this because I built this trellis setup years ago and I haven't used it this year because I have my berry bushes here. And the last bit is to harvest some of these cucumbers. This is the variety that I'm going to replant because it was the shortest from seed to harvest, and it's been the most consistent cucumber over the growing season so far. Watch list, and we have some time. The corn, I changed varieties this year, which I'm not sure if that was in my best interest. So much smaller. We'll see. The honey nut squash has found its way here, and I love it. So I'm going to leave it. But I do have this space that I was going to replant, and then I'd say maybe in a month or less. So once we get, truly to the end of summer, I'll be able to replant this space. So I'll have almost this full bed. Hey, friend! I had to catch up with one of my neighbors. I was excited. I hadn't seen him in a while, and he's doing well. So when I first opened up the front yard to grow vegetables, and when I first started really building out the front yard flower bed, it was like I wanted more space. I wanted to be able to grow more things, and then wanted to be able to give something beautiful to the neighborhood. There's another space a couple of miles away, and they do a lot of perennial plantings, and I drive past the space and it's just beautiful and it just brings me joy. And I wanted to be able to do the same thing for the people that walk by, my neighbors, passers-by, and that conversation is just such a reminder of how this garden space has connected me to community in a way that I really didn't plan for. So yeah, let's dig back in. Hey, how are you?
Okay, I've been waiting on you to get through talking.
I'll run in my mouth.
We all do.
How you feeling?
I feel okay. How you feeling?
I'm good. My grandfather used to say, it's not that hot, just sit still. It's that hot. All right, so we got everything we wanted to get out of the garden. Super pleased. And I also have a real good idea of what I'm going to plant in the spaces that we looked at that have opened up. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the next one.